For more on this, let's bring in our foreign affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, first of all, what more do we know about what happened?
Well, details are coming in of this attack, which happened overnight. What we do know is that it was launched at about 1:20 a.m. local time and involved helicopter gunships, F-16 fighter jets, which honed in on a house in the town of Atmeh, which is in Idlib province in northwestern Syria, and that the target was indeed someone from Al-Qaeda, from the Syrian branch of Al-Qaeda, that's Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, and not from the Islamic State. We don't know the identity of the person. There have been lots of names which have been put on the net today, on Twitter feed, some wrong, but it appears it could have been one of four people who are very high-ranking Al-Qaeda officials, because it's pretty unusual that the US would launch this kind of raid if it wasn't to target a very high-ranking official whom they really did want to either eliminate or to arrest and take away. We don't know whether or not the target survived, whether he was taken away, but what we do know is that it was a very long raid that lasted for at least 2 hours. And you're right, there are casualties, despite what the US says. They say no American casualties happened on the ground. It looks like the house was pretty much destroyed. The people inside were asked to come out before the raid started. It appears the target was with his family when that raid took place. But there are pictures of at least 9 bodies carried out, 3 children and 1 woman. So there have been casualties involved in this. But as I said, at the moment, we don't know who it is, and we don't know whether they're alive or dead. But there are comparisons that can be made with previous attacks, and officials are saying that this is on a par with the attack that led to the death of the former leader of the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, back in 2019. That was also in Idlib province. And also another US drone attack, which happened last October, which killed another Al-Qaeda official just 1 month after the US killed yet another official in a raid. So these are very pinpointed raids by the United States when they actually think they're going to kill a senior leader of Al-Qaeda, someone who's responsible for terrorism, and someone who could be planning terrorist attacks outside of Syria in other countries around the world.
Philip, why is Idlib province such an important key region in the Syrian civil war?
Okay, well, Idlib has been a hotbed of jihadist activity almost since the start of the Syrian civil war back in 2011. Remember, this started with peaceful protests by Syrians under the Free Syrian Army, but it was from 2015 onwards that Al-Qaeda got a foothold in Idlib province under the Al-Nusra Front, which then became the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group, which is the Syrian branch of Al-Qaeda, basically, which has created a territory which is under Sharia law, and many other groups have been then joining up forces with them. So this area of northwestern Syria is stuck between the forces of the Syrian leader, Bashar al-Assad, on one side, and he is backed by Russia and by Iran. And on the other side, you have Turkey, which is keen to protect its border and which also wants the defeat of the Syrian leader. So this is stuck right in the middle of that, and it's still a hotbed of jihadist activity. And Al-Qaeda sees it as a safe zone, a safe haven. And that is why we often see these pinpointed attacks by the military, the US military, to try to eliminate these leaders there, because they feel secure in that region. But despite numerous attempts to launch a ceasefire, we have never managed to, neither the United States nor Russia nor Syria nor Turkey have managed to actually get a deal that is held.
Philip, thank you for that. France 24's Philip Turle.